how I'm gonna title this? How we gonna title this is when keeping it real goes wrong. No. Hold on. The cycle of poverty when keeping it real goes wrong. Something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like that.
But we're talking about the cycle of poverty, man.
Yeah.
You know, why we broke. What's happening, people? Welcome back to Be More to Do More podcast, where we help you to become the person you need to become to do the things you call to do. Your boy Tone in the building at Be More to Do More headquarters. And
Yeah. What's up, man?
what's up, bro?
Henry A. Harden.
The what?
D3rd.
Don't forget the three. Hey man, we at home, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm at your house, but we at home.
Be More to Do More headquarters.
Yeah, the
Right?
headquarters, man. The headquarters, man. So, bro, we had a decent conversation yesterday, and it just came out of nowhere. So I thought we should just bring it on the pod, man. We're talking about the cycle of poverty, man, and I just want to get into that.
Yeah. I think there's a difference between not having any money and being broke, right?
Yeah.
And I think, in my opinion, right, as a thought leader out here, you know.
Yeah, we thought leaders, you know.
Broke is a mentality. Not having any money is a situation.
That's true. That's
right.
true.
And
That's
so,
true.
you know, you can always get more money, right? But it's very difficult to change the mentality of somebody being, broke.
Yeah, I agree. This poverty mindset, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about this in one of our other pods. I think the pod of gratitude or something like that. That poverty, the cycle of poverty, is the continuance of lack,
right?
Or the lack or scarcity mindset. So is that mindset that, okay, I should have, you shouldn't have,
right,
which is lack, or I don't have enough, which is lack, or I don't care because I don't have, which is lack. You know what I mean? Those type of mindsets. And I think there's a few stages that you go through.
Yeah.
Want to talk about it, bro?
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about the four phases of poverty.
Okay.
Or the four phases of the cycle of poverty, right? And anytime you have a cycle, it goes around and around and around again.
We're talking about strongholds today.
Yeah.
Let's go.
The first thing, the first phase is, I'll call it, the come up phase.
Come up.
Right. And in this phase, in this phase, what happens is you gain some type of success. Right. Or somebody in the environment gains some type of success.
Right.
And people start to envy that success.
And when we talk about success, man, we're not talking, well, it could be you built a successful small business but I'm just talking about even if you hit the lottery, bro. Even a scratch off.
Yep. I got $10 on the scratch off. Success is relative, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be as small as, brothers and sisters that's 5-7 years old. Yeah. And one of them get a new toy, and the other one, like, it doesn't, like, it could be a variety of different things, but right. It's just about somebody has quote unquote more than I have.
Right. Because so the thing is, the receiver has more, but I feel like if I say it, I'm gonna start giving all the phases away.
Well, let's go. Let's run through the phases first.
Okay,
let's run through the phases.
Let's do it.
So first phase is the come up phase. Okay, right. This is really where a lot of envy happens.
Right.
The second phase is the crab in the bucket phase.
Let's go.
Right, where you're trying to get up, but people are pulling you down. Right. The third phase is the hurting myself to help others phase. Right, where
and why they do that? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, it's just like you feel like you feel obligated to help people, but the reality of it is, by you helping them, you're really hurting yourself.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
And then the fourth phase is the survivor's remorse phase.
That's why they do that.
It's almost like, okay, you got to go back. You got to go back to the environment to bring people out. But it's a different way that that you should handle that. We're gonna kind of go through that, but yeah. So it's that's it.
That's crazy.
Those are the 4 phases.
I got chills, man, even just talking about it. But yeah, so even minor successes, it almost feels like success is banned in these communities that, or just the mindset, because they are opposites. Poverty and success, are total polar opposite. And it almost feel like that there can't be any success,
right?
When it comes to a circle of or a community of a poverty mindset. So if I get a toy and you don't, me as the receiver feel like I don't deserve the toy. You know what I mean? Because you don't have the toy, and you're making me, I can't say make because my therapist told me not to say make, but your actions are implying that I don't deserve the toy. So I don't care for the toy that I do have. If that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, it's like, you look at it in corporate America per se, right? Like, there's this position that opens up. Right. And you got 2 people in for this position. Yeah. Only one person can get it. True. Right? So one person gets it, it automatically creates it depends on the other person, right? But yeah, if there's a level of maturity that has to happen, this is why I talked about the mindset, right? The mentality. But the people that don't have the right mentality, this other person gets position, and now you're feeling envious of them getting the spot because you feel like you should have had it. Right. So it kind of creates that resentment for this other person's quote unquote success. That's true. And that, I think that epitomizes the first phase of the cycle of poverty.
The cycle of poverty. That's right. You see it all the time in communities, man. Like, you see, man, even in families, I'm gonna just say that you see it all the time, and it could be as simple as a family going on vacation. Oh, they doing this and that, and they think they all that. You know what I mean? Right. Or it's just minor things, man. Or just happiness in general. You know what I mean? Because envy got a hold of that person so bad that they can't enjoy life as it is. So they think that you should be miserable, which is lack, because they are miserable. Right. So, yo, man, one time for envy, man. One time for envy.
All right, let's move on to phase 2.
Let's go.
Grabbing the bucket. You intentionally have people pulling you down instead of lifting you up. That's true. Because they don't want to see you, be successful, right? Right. So we can go a variety of different ways with this, right? But I think the most, I guess, prevalent way to look at it is, you know what? That'll probably be number 3, huh? What's that? Think about the robbing thing, like somebody taking something from you.
I mean, it is what it is. Number 3 is what?
Helping yourself to help, hurting yourself to help others.
Hurting yourself to help others. Well, I mean, I think it's twofold. I think the crab in the bucket is, okay, on one end, the person who is envying are trying to manipulate you into helping you. Yeah. Or pulling you down in that aspect, you know what I mean? And so subconsciously they may be thinking, I deserve what you got. You don't deserve it because I'm better than you. You know what I mean? Right. And I think there are many ways that a person can try to pull another person down because they envy them. I think manipulation is one. Talking bad, trying to ruin their reputation. We see that a lot. Trying to ruin their reputation for what? Some unknown reason. Right. You know what I mean? Dang, yeah. Like, yeah. And it has nothing to do with their success, but yeah, back in the day they used to such and such. You know what I mean? Just all of this spew of negativity about a particular person for no reason. Yeah. That kill them.
Is that what news places do?
News?
Right? Like
I feel like it, bro.
Like they say, bro, I know we talked about the Air movie, and he said something so important.
Oh yeah. He said, I know where you're going.
America will build you up to something that's really unsustainable. Right. And then they gonna tear you down.
Tear you down again.
And it's and it's like, dang, like because you think about the news, you think about like media outlets and things like that, right?
Right.
It's almost like you get to a certain amount of success, and it's like, nah, let's bring them back down. Let's bring them back down to earth.
So it's something in media called, if you look up, media terminologies or just the ideology. What's that word I'm looking for?
Ideology.
Ideology of media is called representation theory. What it is that the media will portray an idea about a particular thing, and it may not even be true, and they may not be as direct with what's being represented, but they are alluding to something to make you think or feel a way about that particular item, person, or whatever it is. Yeah. That's why when it comes to media, for one, I believe God have me in media for a particular reason, but for two, I don't trust media because that I mean, they be telling me to watch news to see what's going on in the world. I'm like, it got to be more than this going on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's all negative.
Yeah, it's all negative. But that again, it catches people's attention because people like to bring.
Dang. So are we conditioned? Are we conditioned to have the crab in the bucket mentality?
I feel like it. I feel like we're conditioned. But I feel like media emphasizes it. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if they enforces it. I think the enforcement comes from our community. Right. But I think media emphasizes it. When I talk about media, I'm talking about news, music, entertainment. I'm talking about all aspects of media. People think music is the thing that causes communities to go down and all the killing. No. They talk about what goes on in the hood,
right,
and what they are accustomed to,
right.
But who amplifies it?
Right,
media.
Yeah, 100%.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So media enforces the things that we experience in the hood, and they make it okay, and it causes this repetitive cycle in our community. So media, man, you just got to look beyond news. You got to look beyond Facebook. You got to look beyond music. You know what I mean? You got to pull back that veil, man. So, I think that's the biggest way or biggest example of that crab in a bucket idea, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this on one of the pods. How they say, oh, the Illuminati, white people, whatever. No, I just believe that people capitalize off of this. Is it a way to keep us down? Is it their intentions? Maybe, but maybe that the business or the money is the reason why.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's all about the profits.
Yeah.
All about the profits, right.
So you can be in media, you could be wealthy and have that crab in the bucket mentality. Trying to, it is a crap.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you're trying to pull us down. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you think about like you talk about the slander, right? Like,
right.
I'm sure that you can think about a company right now that you've seen try to slander another company.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like even in ads, right? Like I was watching a ad on. I can't remember the name of the. Like. There's a new search engine that's out apparently, and their whole advertisement is like against Google, because just Google it, right? Like Google it, look it up, Google it,
right?
And they're like, oh yeah, this is you can Google it, but you got all these ads that pop up, or you got all these come over to this side.
Oh man,
it's like it happens in business as well, where like, all right, you successful. I'm in your same little niche that you in. I'm about to pull you down. Yeah. You're finna get like that, or they attach themselves. That's another thing. People attach themselves to you. Why do you think people beef with certain people? Recently, we just had a I don't know how recent it is now, but we just had this Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole.
Oh yeah,
and Drake beef, right? When you think about it, right? Kendrick has, and it's I'm not taking sides here, but but Kendrick has he specifically talked about them ain't no big three, it's just big me, right?
Right.
That's not unfamiliar to him.
No.
Because when he did it a few years ago, maybe like almost a decade ago now, I don't know how long ago it was, but in the Control, they had a song called Control.
Yeah.
And he specifically
called out names.
Yeah, names of rappers, right?
Yeah.
And it blew up, right? So it's like, so I think also there's power in like, and 50 Cent did it.
Oh,
he's a king at it, right?
Oh, what?
But more so like when he first came out with Power, he made a comparison with
Empire.
Yeah. Two totally different shows.
Yeah.
But because he attached himself to it, anytime they got some publicity, he got publicity.
Yeah. He didn't have the marketing budget.
Yeah. So it's not always a negative thing, right? Right. Sometimes just it's strategic.
Right. Yeah. It is. But what happened to Empire?
I didn't even watch it.
Look, man. Look, he got Power Universe, bro. But I mean, I guess to that degree, they have a mindset that it can only be one king. I mean, I get it. I get that, and I really don't have any opinions on that because in some way I have that same mindset when it comes to being competitive, but I feel like I just do it differently. I feel like I won't have to even mention my competition. Like, yeah, I'd be watching, but I don't have to mention them. And I don't have to demise their reputation. I would just do me. I would build on your weaknesses, and build on my strengths. And I just think I play the game a little different, man. So, but to each his own. Each his own. It could be grabbing a bucket, I had something to say, man. I totally forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, phase number 3.
What's number 3?
Phase number 3 is I'm hurting myself trying to help somebody else.
So that's what started this conversation.
Yes, 100%.
This is 100%. What started this conversation. We was talking about this yesterday. Taking from my family so that you can be good.
Yeah. Like, and so it started with like, why do we look at I give you the shirt off my back as a term of endearment or a phrase of endearment? Like, that's not a good thing. Like, that's not like, why would I have to hurt myself to help you? Like, that doesn't make any sense,
right?
To me, like, it just
right.
Like, don't get me wrong, right? Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but I'm just saying that's a poverty mentality.
Yeah,
is having to hurt myself to be able to help you. Like, that's silly.
It is, and we go around with this with these meanings, man, and we make it our doctrine, bro.
Yeah,
for real. I take the shirt off my back. And usually you'll hit that in the hood, bro. Like, I take my shirt off my back and give it to you.
I take a bullet for you.
Listen, man, we only had one savior, bro. To be real, Now, I know that the word talks about like in Christ, or if you are strong. I think Apostle Paul said, if you are strong, then have patience and be with your brother who's weak.
Right.
But it's not in a sense as to where you are not really strong but not really weak, like to have empty kind of thing, then give what's in your glass, the rest of what's in your glass, to the other person. It's not that type of thing either. So yeah, I don't agree with that, man. Like, because at the end of the day, when you're on an airplane, what did they say?
Give yourself oxygen first. Put your mask on first.
Yeah, put your mask on first, man. You can't pour from an empty glass.
Right.
That's 100%. Just what it is. That's just what it is. So, but there are people who feel like you should.
Right.
They hold you. Right. Now, it's flattering in a sense because they hold you in this high esteem.
Right.
Because they think so much about you, but then they have this envious twist to it, and it's like, yo, you good. I should be good.
Right.
And you should make sure I'm good.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even if I gave you my last, they don't care because they got what they need.
Yeah. That's why so Joyner Lucas has a song out called Broski.
Yeah, that video is crazy.
And here's the thing about Joyner Lucas, right? He came out with the visuals.
Yeah.
Right? Like his first song that I heard, at least, that kind of went, big was "I'm Not Racist."
Right.
And it was the standpoint of like, black man talking to a white man, right, and kind of going through like, I'm not a racist, but these are my experiences, and this is why I think the way I think. Right. And it was a dope visual. Right. So he's the king of visuals in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
But and also you think about when you look at Joyner Lucas, he's a little bit newer than a lot of like the Kendricks, the Drakes, the Coles. Right. But he has the potential to be like a top 5 rapper.
Nah, he do.
Not just like lyricist, not just like he can make a good song. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So when I heard this song and he had, Rotimi or Dre from Power, right, playing, it's so beautiful. Right. But there's a line in the song, right? Mm-hmm. And this is gonna be the lyric of the week. Lyric of the week.
We ain't got no buttons.
So it's cool. It says, it don't really seem like you want me to chase my dreams so I can get like you. And I'm like, dang. When I really hear that, it's perspective. Right. It doesn't really seem like you want me to chase my dreams. Like, how does it, like, what do I got to do with you chasing your dreams?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And I think that it's one of those things, man, where we have to be able to identify, that type of mentality.
That's true.
And when certain people say certain things, you got to be on point. Yeah. And like, okay, I need to watch out for that. Yeah. That doesn't mean that I can't be in the same room with this person or be like, but how can I?
You got to shield yourself, man.
Yeah. How can I make sure that I'm getting get them what they need? Right. But at the same time, it's not a detriment to myself.
You still, when you see them seeds or the what they call it, the fruits, yeah, man, you better shield yourself for real. That made me think, man. When you said that, it made me think about this, and I'm coming with this. I just lost it, so I'm trying to find it again. What was that again? Oh yeah, so in this particular song, man, he said that he knew his homeboy. It may be fictitious, man, but it may be some real examples out here that's similar. He said he knew his homie since they was 6. So basically, they was in kindergarten, rocking out. You know what I mean? More than likely, his friend experienced all the hard work he put in, all of the, you know what I mean, all of the consistency. Homeboy, you know what? You go ahead and write, bro, but I'm about to go get on these girls real quick. Right. You know what I mean? Like he might have witnessed all of this. So he had a lack of effort, a lack of consistency, a lack of drive. But then when your work or consistency and efforts pays off, he have a lack of compassion because he haven't put in the work. So he feel like because y'all was close, he should have got what you got. But at the same time, he didn't put in the effort because he lacked the effort or whatever. So again,
it's dangerous, bro. It's dangerous.
It goes back to lack. You know what I mean? He didn't put in the work, the efforts, but because you did and got the rewards, he feel like you should lack again and have. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, man. So, and then they start. Oh man, we didn't put this on the list, bro. They throw back up in your face what they've done for you. Right. That's the part of, I guess that'll be a part of the second crab in the bucket or manipulation phase where, I gave you some sunflower seeds. Right. And you was hungry, bro. You don't remember that? Like, I was there for you, bro. Or like they start to conjure up these things that they done for you. Like, And that would tell you right there that, okay, all right, so you wasn't really with me. Right. You know, maybe you was, but now that I'm up, but anyway,
it's one is distasteful, right? Like
it is.
It's like, but but even then, right? Me and my diplomatic approach, right?
Diplomatic. Go ahead.
Maybe nobody taught them that it's not okay to throw something back in their face.
That's true.
Right. And I learned this in, I think it was Brian Tracy's book. And he says, "Are you trying to make me feel guilty?" And then if somebody asks you that, what is your natural response?
Yeah. Like
if I ask, "Are you trying to make me feel guilty right now?"
Right.
Tone, are you trying to make me feel guilty? No, like no. I'm just saying that. Okay, well, it feels like you're trying to make me feel guilty.
Well, yeah, to some degree
they are, right?
Yeah,
but sometimes you have to make them
realize
through a question.
Yeah.
Not not like I'm telling you what you're doing.
Right.
Are you trying to make me feel guilty?
Right.
Oh well,
right.
Like hey, yeah, you did. I thought you did that out of the kindness of your heart. Maybe you didn't. No, bro. No. It's all love. I'm just saying that. No. Okay, got you.
Why you doing it?
Yeah, like, and you educate them
right
through conversation, but like, and depending on how they take that conversation, like, okay, you ain't gonna get it, or
right.
Okay, maybe it was just a learning thing.
Yup. I like that, man. I like that. I think I asked somebody, what are your intentions by telling me this? What are your intentions? What are you trying to get out of this? But you know what though? All right, so on the flip side, for those people out there, you might got, some lady who helped a man come up and then he's up and now he's gone, or they might feel like that's gaslighting. Like, oh nah, he gaslight. You don't remember, One thing I always say is that you don't owe nobody nothing but to love them and to respect, to respect and love them. If you choose to do something for somebody, you chose to do that for that person. Right. You know what I mean? Don't sit there and use it as leverage unless y'all have some contractual agreement that if I do this, I'm gonna do this. But other than that, me personally, now that I'm learning and growing, I'm gonna just count it as love and love and kindness if you do something for me, man. So because I struggled with that for years, bro. Trust issues, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like, I still do. We asking for help.
Right.
I struggle with that, man. So because of the years of people throwing stuff in my face, and I don't know, maybe I didn't do a good job of saying thank you, or I don't know. But why would you do that if you didn't do it from the kindness of your heart?
Right.
But anyway, yeah.
And I think, and this is why I love industries or structures that have I gotta help you to get to my next level type of structure to that company, because it forces it makes you realize more of how important it is to really like help somebody genuinely, right? Because genuinely you want to see them be successful, because
that's true.
It's gonna help you be successful, right? But also I think what it subsequently does as well is, see that big word I use? I don't really know. I think I said it wrong, but anyway. But what also
I said one wrong last week. That's cool. We get one. We get one on the pod, man. We get one on the pod. But
no, seriously though. But what it also does is, it removes it should remove this notion of like, it almost builds like an immediate trust, in a sense, because true. Like there's no way that you can there's no way you can give me this advice with the intent of it hurting me, because at the end of the day, it's just gonna hurt you.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's that's like, true. So why would you give me this advice if it's not gonna really propel my career or be able to help me in the situation? It just doesn't make sense.
That's true.
Right. So that's why I love those structures where you do have to help others to be able to help yourself. And I just think that's a better method than
I like that method.
Giving my shirt off my back,
because the trade-offs are clear.
Right.
You know what I mean? I like that method. I wish we would do more of that in our community. And hey, I'm gonna help you, but what I need in return is this.
Right.
You know what I mean? If we make those things clear up front, man, I think we'll avoid that. What was that? We'll avoid that.
Have hurt myself to help you.
Yeah. That didn't tie in together well. But yeah, man, hurt myself to help you. I struggled with that for a long time too, because of the thought that somebody might throw this in my face. I'm like, dang, that person did help me with this back in the day. I ain't really got it all right now, but I'm gonna try to do what I can do, and then end up putting myself in a bind. I think my last time doing that was in 2021, bro. And after that, I was like, you know what? Looking at my situation, I'm like, nah, I can't help people right now because I need help myself.
Right.
So I can't do it.
Yeah, and you get into a point where like, and that's why it's all right. And I don't know if I remember I told this story before, but like I'm gonna say it again anyway. But like, I saw this guy. He borrowed like $1 million from.
Oh yeah.
So like, why would he like? Yes, he owes the money.
Right, to his father-in-law, right?
Yeah, to his father-in-law.
Yeah.
But why would he give the money back to his father-in-law as soon as he gets an extra $10,000, extra $100,000? Like, no, like I owe you $1 million.
Right.
And in order for me to flip this $1 million, I need this $100,000.
That's true.
That I just made.
That's
to
true.
be able to continue to flip it and turn it and like, so like, you know, I there's, you know, sometimes there people may call me for some money, right?
Right.
And I'm like, I could do that. Like I can, bro, I can give you $25.
Right.
Right. Like I can do it. Right. But I got $25 I could put into podcast equipment.
Right.
That's going to be able to make me more money back.
Right.
Right. Because I don't have an infinite amount of money.
That's true.
Right. Like it just, so it's sometimes you gotta tell people no to be able to invest back into yourself.
That's true.
To be able to help them further along down the line.
That's true.
You know, and I think that's something that's very underrated because I'm about to get kicked out of my apartment tomorrow. I really need this money. Like, and it's, you want to help them people, but it's just like, if you do,
right,
you're really hurting yourself.
That's true. I'd be like, I ain't got it. Even if I got it, I ain't got it to give. My budget of giving it has ran out. Yeah. You know, especially our entrepreneurs out there. Right.
Like,
yeah, definitely.
What happens is we make an extra $5,000 that month.
Right.
And then what we do? We spend $4,000 of it.
Yeah, we do. We definitely do.
Right. Like we spend like, oh, I really need, you know, no brakes on my car. Or and it's stuff that you genuinely like, you really do need.
Right.
Like it's not like it's like, oh, I need to, you know, pay for daycare. Like it's stuff that like it could put you in a bad spot if you don't.
Yeah.
But that's not your money.
That's true.
It's the business's money.
Yep.
And you gotta put the money back inside of the business to be able to generate more revenue.
That's the point of the business.
Yeah, like, and I was listening to a sermon the other night, and he said, you know, like sometimes we pray to God, like, man, you know, God, help me with my financial situation.
Right.
And then we be pissed off when God, you know, come repossess the car. Like that's God help. Like you can't afford it.
Yeah.
Like why do you have it?
Right.
You can't afford it. So it's like we can't pick and choose on how we want to be helped, or we can't pick and choose on what. We're not in a financial situation to be able to, like, I'm sorry, if you can't afford this private school, your kid need to go to public school. That just is what it is.
Yeah, just go to a better neighborhood.
Like
use somebody address.
No, you know, like well, it's like we just have to.
I think
be more realistic on how.
I think that's the beauty of, and this might be going totally different, but I think that's the beauty of when the Lord strip you of certain things, because we hold on to all the stuff we think we need,
right?
But in actuality, we don't need,
right?
So He bring us back to a place where now we have to get creative. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And try to, okay, let me figure out how to make this work in another way.
Yeah.
And what it's doing is it's expanding our ability and our wisdom to do business and to manage finances. I'm guilty myself, bro, because the first thing I want to do is just, when I make a decent, because you know some months it's dry.
It's up and down. It's up and down.
You know, some months you up,
entrepreneurship,
some months you dry.
Commissions, like it's up and down.
And the months you dry, you got people who standing in the gap. But initially, again, I guess it's the ministry entrepreneurship thing. First thing you want to do when you get paid is like, yo, I need to help these people because they helping me.
Yep.
But in actuality, you still have to help your business. Your business is the asset and the investment, and it's going to ultimately cause you to be financially stable and free in the long run. That way you can freely help people and not be back in the same situation next month. So I get it, bro.
Yeah, and this is why communication is so key as well.
Yeah.
Because and this is what happens, right? You get this extra money that they see you, because they might, and the reality is they might, let's say you have some type of jewelry brand,
right?
And they see people around the city with your jewelry on.
Yeah.
They know that, your jewelry costs $50 to $100.
Right.
And they only saw 10 people just in this one spot that had it.
Well,
right?
But he got it.
You got it.
He
right?
got it. Yeah.
And this is why you have to communicate to the people that's around you of, hey, this is what, every dollar I make, 80% of that money goes right back into my business.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you got expenses and all that.
Yeah. Like because people that don't, people that have a poverty mindset, or people that don't understand business, because you gotta think about it, right? If you work a W-2 job, right, you get your money and the money's yours.
That's true.
But in entrepreneurship, it ain't like that.
Right.
You get this money, it's not all yours.
Nah, it ain't yours at all.
Right. And
not at all.
Yeah. And so like you have to distribute it in ways to be able to, and you have to communicate that to the people that's around you. Like,
that's true.
Hey, I would love to do that, but let me walk you through quickly. Right. Let me walk you through quickly on why I can't do that. I can give you this $25, but if I do that, that's not going to allow me to be able to do this.
Right.
Or I got to pay taxes on this money. Yeah. Or I got to, it's just like, I think it's a part of it. You have to figure out, you got to know your business. You got to know what you need to do. So that when you tell somebody no, you tell somebody you can't do it, you can kind of give them a reason. Yeah. And they may not agree with it. Right. I mean, hey, but at least they have a little more context. Yeah.
But they got poverty mindset. They ain't trying to hear it.
They ain't trying to hear it, but but you did everything. Like, and that's why, like,
you clearing your conscience.
Yeah. Like you gotta go the extra mile, in my opinion, right? Like, go the extra mile to communicate the extra thing.
Right. And I think it's good that you clear your conscience, because you don't want to be carrying guilt around and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Have your business in order. Know your expenses. Yep. Because, you're just out here divvying out money you ain't got. Right. Anyway, I think it's good to clear your conscience. That's why you should be in order. You should have everything in order so that no, I got it, but I ain't got it to give. Like I said, so yeah.
So last phase.
And all this is leading up to this phase, kind of.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Survivor's remorse.
Okay.
You feel like.
Do you have survivor's remorse?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Personally, no.
Okay.
I don't have personally I don't, because I don't have a lot of people around me that because I believe in like bringing people along with me.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
So personally, and people know who I like. They know me, right? Like my people So it's like they also know my intentions.
Makes sense.
And they know if I got it, they got it. Right. Now professionally, that's the part where I got to get a little bit better at, because because one, I got to become a better communicator.
Makes sense.
Period. Okay. Right. I have to be able, like, same thing I was just talking about, be able to communicate the context to why certain things. Right.
Makes sense.
But I think I do have a little bit of survivor's remorse, because even though I know that every single person that's in my organization can get there.
Right.
I also have a good understanding of people and know that this person may not, if I told them what it took to get there. Right. Like, do they have it in them? And maybe that's on me, that just not like, but it just.
That's heavy, bro. That's heavy.
And I don't, and that's again, I have to get better there, because sometimes I dim my light.
Right.
Because more recently I've kind of started to step out of that.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
But like
December, man, 2025 coming.
Yeah. So like, cause it's like, but if I don't show the good things about my position,
right,
then why would they ever aspire to do this?
That's true.
And that's why I started to be more vocal about and be more intentional about, nah, I really live a good life. Like,
right.
Because I never want somebody to feel like I'm like being braggadocious or
I see.
So like, I don't want somebody to feel like I'm putting them down because I'm talking about things that I'm doing.
What you got,
So
they need something, like you say, to aspire to. But you did say something key. You said, I didn't want to tell them what it takes to get there. I mean, I feel like God do us this way too.
Yeah.
Like he don't, for sure he do that to me. Like he give me the picture, but he don't give me the plan to get there. Because he know what it takes to get there. And I believe that if he was to show me what it takes to get there, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
No, I'm good. But if you can give it to him incrementally,
yeah.
Like, and that's where like I've started doing more. Like, okay,
right.
I know that if I told you this, you're not going to like but if I told you this small thing and built upon it, when we get to this end thing, it's not going to be as
hard,
a big of a deal, because you have all these small steps in between.
And the current mindset, man, would be detrimental. I said detrimental this time to the success that God has for you. See how I brought that back? I said it wrong the last part, but I brought it back, man. Will be detrimental to the success that God has for you, because we may not have that mindset right now. You know what I mean? Our mindset will ultimately destroy what it is that God has for us if he was to give us everything at one time. And this is why the poverty mindset is so useless when it comes to even our walk with God, because God is the God of abundance. There's no destruction in God. He always talking about edification, which brings me to our scripture today, man.
Let's go.
Let me go to the scripture today, man. Hold on. It comes from Proverbs 10:15, and the Bible says, "The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty." There's two things he's saying here.
Right.
But let me go down to the destruction of the poor is their poverty. When I first read this scripture, it was back in, I want to say 2016, 2017. And I was a little confused because at that moment, I didn't know the difference between being poor and poverty. Poverty is substantial or continuous poorness, if that makes sense.
Right.
If you are continuing in the path of being poor, that means there's some poverty mindset there. And what causes this poverty mindset is a mindset of destruction. You see what I'm saying? Anything that you are causing or destroying or causing to lack, you are destroying. And this is leading to you being poor on a continual basis.
Right.
So like if you look at the hood, you see, you see trash everywhere. You see, people robbing. They trying to kill you, take what you got. They are destroying each other because they lack, and they feel like the other people should lack.
Right.
You took my homie, I'm gonna take your homie. You take my money, I'm gonna take your money. You got this, I'm gonna take it from you. It's a continual cycle of destruction because they are causing each other to come back down to lack. And that is what's keeping people in poverty. And not only just that on the physical end, but what you're doing to yourself internally. Are you constantly tearing yourself down for reaching a certain level of success?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's where survivor remorse comes into play. Like, do I really deserve this? Why am I here? Why? You know what I mean? They should be here. I shouldn't be here. I'm gonna give it up. Now you're beginning to destroy what it is that God is giving you because of this poverty mindset. So all of this ties back into poverty. if you think about that, Dave Chappelle.
Right. When keeping it real goes wrong.
Bro was, he was up, but although his mentor was a little off, bro. I mean, but anyway, he already had a feeling that he was Uncle Thomas,
right,
sell out,
right,
and I bet you bought him $1. Part of his environment was playing some role in that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? That caused him to,
Think about it. Nobody else was in the room.
That's true. Just white people right now.
Executives.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like, only his executives was in the room. So he could have if he would have let it slide, nobody would have known.
Right.
Except him.
Yeah.
And then he could have addressed it later.
Yeah, like, hey, don't do that.
Right. But sometimes that poverty mindset.
Yeah.
No, I got to check him right now.
Yeah. He exploded. That means there are some internal conditions
right,
that he's been dealing with,
right,
with being successful. And just to break that down. And to be real, it may be a skit, but it's Dave Chappelle, man. He wrote that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Maybe. I mean, it's his skit, so
yeah. He might have wrote it, but somebody successful on that show might have wrote it, so it came from a real place.
Yeah, like that, bro. I'm telling you, that is a real thing. Like, just keeping it real is that's a constant battle for a lot of us that are successful, right? Like, because how do I balance? And that's what the culture is at.
Right.
How do I balance being from the culture, but also an executive?
Right.
Like, that's basically keeping it real. But when it goes wrong, like, you have to know what your limits are.
That's true.
Before, like, what can you do? What can you not do?
Right.
Who should you do that with?
Right.
Right. Like,
right.
And going back to what you were saying about, people treat trash like trash in a sense. You think about it, and it's something one of our leaders kind of pointed out. I was like, dang, it's so true. He said, think about it, right? Restaurant, and tell me the first thing that popped in your mind. Restaurant, fighting, dirty.
McDonald's,
right? And when you look at McDonald's, if you're looking at a restaurant fight, it's typically going to be McDonald's,
right?
Popeyes,
oh man,
Waffle House, right?
Right.
Now, question: when was the last time you seen a fight happen at Five Guys or at Chick-fil-A
or Panera? Yeah, nah, I haven't.
Those things never happen at those places. You know why?
Yeah.
They're maybe not. I don't know about Five Guys. Five Guys, I feel like it's more of an upscale. I'm not finna go spend $20 on a burger and gotta fight somebody. Like,
yeah,
they're
we're all friends here.
Yeah, like
at this point, and then they don't put those restaurants in those communities because of the income level.
I don't know.
They don't. They put restaurants in a community based on the average income level.
I've seen some Chick-fil-A's in some questionable areas.
Yeah.
I've seen some Chick-fil-A's.
But I guarantee you it was by an expressway.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So, I feel like everything in Georgia is somewhat near an expressway, right? It's you can, in 5 minutes you can get to express. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's not like necessarily right beside it. But my point is that because they treat their facilities with so much respect,
right?
The people, their patrons, treat it with respect as well.
That's true.
And that's the part where, when you look at, survivor's remorse, and you look at feeling like having to go back to bring some, having to go back to the place where you came from.
Right.
You're going into a dirty environment. So how do you expect to have positive results in a dirty environment?
That's true.
The best option would be, let me bring the people from that environment to my environment.
Yeah, so they can see, to expose them. That's true.
You know how many people's lives have changed because
definitely
they've gotten into a different experience?
Definitely, bro. Definitely.
Like,
for real.
That's what it's about, right? Like,
you got to bring them. I remember, man, when I was in the hood when I was a custodian, man. But my job as a custodian was in like Sandy Springs, the uppity area in Atlanta. Well, now, I mean, if you go to Remember and Lennox, they changed. But back then, you know, the neighborhood was so clean and nice. I inspired to do more, man. I enrolled in school. I was trying to do whatever it is that I need to do to get up out of my environment because I enjoy this environment.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, you got some people out there who's comfortable in their environment, but again, they're comfortable with the poverty mindset. But I knew then that I wanted to do something different and get up out of there. So that's definitely true. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Good.
We good. Man, I had we're good.
Sure.
We're good, yeah. I had another point, man, but we can get into it on another podcast, man. But what we got here, man? What you writing in?
Oh, come on, man. You already know, man.
You already know.
The Be More to Do More.
What am I doing right journal?
What am I doing right journal?
Hey,
you know?
It's out now on Amazon. Y'all make sure y'all get that. What am I doing right?
Get the hard copy.
Get the hard. Oh, the hard copy. Man, bro. We got color and everything, you know. The hard copy is fire, man. Make sure y'all get that. What am I doing right journal? Let's talk about what are we doing right. Let's write. And the thing about this journal though is that it's not just a journal that you write in, but we have like a wholeness evaluation, like your mental, your physical, your spiritual life, even your relationships. You know, it's a purpose-driven journal that you can write down your goals, your dreams, and then you can actually track them. And also the state of your total being. What journal you know? My man right here.
One of a kind, man.
Hey, man. Hey, jeans, bro. But anyway, make sure y'all get that What Am I Doing Right journal. And like, share, subscribe. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. I think we out, bro. We out.
All right. Concerned about them. Stick and move, we can get it done. Call it unity, it ain't no way around it. Cultivating, we get motivation from the big guy. We don't play about them. Going hard for the game, showing.